At Dave Cooper Live, we connect the industry leaders in the architectural, engineering, and construction space with the people, the products, and the processes to help them build it better. All right, the future of home building isn't made of wood, it's made of steel. Today on Dave Cooper Live, we're joined by Harv Sidhu, the visionary CEO of Build Smartr, a company that's helping builders and developers rethink how homes are designed and constructed. Build Smartr's prefabricated steel framing isn't just stronger, it's smarter, greener, and faster. By combining engineering, CNC precision manufacturing, and on-site installation, Harv and his team are giving builders the tools and technology to deliver high-performance homes with less waste, greater efficiency, and unmatched durability. From single-family homes to multi-family development units, Build Smartr is helping developers and builders construct the homes of the future today. But we can't do any and all of this without our supporting members. So first, let's give a quick shout out to Cobalt Creed. They service builders, developers, prefab home builders, and manufacturers, allowing them to achieve the highest levels of comfort, indoor air quality, and low energy costs with their HVAC systems installed for their projects and their customers. Their approach is simple. By using their proprietary small-duct high-velocity central heating and cooling system. If you want to learn more, go to cobaltcreed.com. Now, a few words from these supporting members, and we're going to get right into it with Harv. Brought to you by Greatech, developers of the complete light gauge steel and wood framing software for Revit StruxSoft. Off-site, modular, or prefabricated, StruxSoft Framer turns Revit into a powerful manufacturing tool, automating every step of the DFMA process from design to final delivery. StruxSoft doesn't just work with Revit, it transforms it. Jumpstart your designs at StruxSoftSolutions.com. Howick Ltd. has a long history of innovation in cold form steel manufacturing and producing innovative precision roll forming technology for customers throughout the United States and the world. Check out their machine buyer's guide for off-site modular construction or fast build construction with light steel for framing. Go to their website, howickltd.com. All right. Again, thank you to all of our supporting members. To include all the supporting members you see going across the bottom of the screen below. We can't do any of this or all of it without all of you out there supporting us. If you'd like to be part of our community and our private networking events, hey, we suggest you sign up and join the movement. We are moving things in the right direction. And just to clarify, we have Green Build coming up, so I got to put it on stage. Next week, we're going to be in Los Angeles, and we got a speaker lineup like you couldn't believe. Everybody from Paolo at Boxable, Steve Glenn, so many others. So make sure you join us for our 2 days on our big 20 by 40 stage. And we're giving you 20% off. We're the only place you can get 20% off on your green build access. And if you just want to come to the show floor and you just want to come see the speakers on our stage, guess what? It's free. That's right. I said free. So make sure you join us there. All right. Without further ado, let's bring on Harv. Harv, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good, Dave. That was an amazing intro. I think I need you as my hype man everywhere I go.
Hey, let's do it, man. I'm up for it. You know, I'm super hyped about all the new technology, all the different ways of thinking and how we're moving the industry forward. And we're going to get into some of that with Build Smartr in just a moment. But Harv, I ask everybody, we want to know everything about you from the moment you were born to this very moment in time. Do not leave out any of the good stuff from the hospital, or we will have your family members on the show and it will get embarrassing. Otherwise, you got about a minute and a half. Tell us who you are, where you come from, and what made you want to do this. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I had no intention to start a prefab business. As you know, it's a very difficult business to start, but really my background was I essentially grew up on construction sites. My family being in the construction industry, started off just on job sites, you know, like a lot of other people, a lot of other kids, just cleaning up and just doing anything I could really put my hands on to help my dad out there. Over time, kind of learned more on job sites, went to school, went to Simon Fraser University, graduated from there. Then I really got into the family business, which was construction on a full-time basis. Built a number of single-family and multi-family projects in Vancouver. And that's kind of where I realized that there are just so many like problems in construction when it came to like waste, costs, just like combustibility, labor shortages. And I figured there must be a better way to do this. And I tried to kind of see if who other companies could kind of help solve my problems when it came to like literally cost and combustibility. I really wasn't able to find a company at that time. And that's when I kind of started Build Smartr to really have the solution to all developers and all builders.
I love it. So I got your website up here on the screen. You know, why don't you tell us, what is Build Smartr? How long have you been in business? Talk us from inception to where you are today.
Yeah, we started the business in 2018. We are essentially a prefab wall maker for developers and builders. We're essentially enabling them to build their structures out of light gauge steel. So that's all of your walls, all of your joists, all of your trusses. Everything is essentially 3D modeled and value engineered to try to build the most efficiently way we possibly can the entire structure of the building. And that 3D model is sent to our CNC machines. Everything is panelized, fabricated, sent to your job site, and installed like big Lego blocks.
So right now on the screen, you know, it's showing kind of like a kit of parts, like you said, like Lego blocks. Is it a predefined kit of part? Is it all customized? Can you build anything, or is there a set defined rules that one has to follow to use your system?
Yeah, it's all customized. I believe that a lot of people don't want to live in the same type of house. Everyone wants to have a unique building, a unique project. So we really want architects to build any type of building. And we're essentially enabling them to make that building out of light gauge steel and panelize it. But we're not limited to any type of design.
Got it. So where's your factory at? How big is the manufacturing facility? Walk us through what your staff looks like, what your culture looks like.
Yeah, we have a manufacturing facility in Vancouver, BC, Canada, a team of about 15 people now. And that includes drafting, engineering, warehouse, and sales, and the rest of the team that kind of makes the company churn. But yeah, that's kind of our current setup right now.
Yeah. So Build Smartr calls itself a one-stop shop from engineering to installation. How important is that vertical integration to your success?
Yeah, that's for us, it's kind of almost like an awareness piece when it comes to like engineering, install, and really fabrication is kind of our bread and butter, the main service that we provide. But when it comes to engineering, sometimes certain engineers are very familiar with light gauge steel structures, and sometimes engineers aren't. So we have that kind of in-house engineering to help the clients engineer the entire structure. And when it comes to installation, we have the installation team ready to install, but a lot of times developers have their own framers. So we offer them kind of training to how to install this kind of structure essentially. And it's super easy. The first house, actually, I'm not a very handy person, but I installed the entire house myself. And once the 3D modeling is done, it's literally just a matter of putting the walls in the right locations and fastening them with self-topping screws together.
So builders, developers sound like that's kind of who your clientele is. Do you work with architects, and do you also self-perform where you do your own development?
Yeah, no, we're essentially just a wall maker. We're really trying to be the best wall printing company in the world. That's really what our goal is. So we're working with any architects, any engineers, any developers, really giving them another option. So right now the options are to stick frame their houses out of wood, to use concrete. We're essentially giving them a third option, is that your structure can also be light gauge steel.
Got it. So when you say that, so when you it's concrete, when you can do concrete walls, is that what you're saying, or you do all the concrete prep work for the setting of the walls?
No, we're only focused on the walls, the joists, and the trusses, essentially
Yep.
the structure on top of the concrete. But we're giving builders and developers another structural option. So right now the structural options are really wood, concrete, or hot rolled steel. And we're giving them essentially, I guess you can say, a fourth option when it comes to cold form steel.
And walk me through with the cold form steel. You do walls, you do floors, you do ceilings, trusses, you do stairs. What all is in your package?
Yeah, it's all the walls, all the joists, all the trusses, the stairs. We've done stairs for some clients, but some clients prefer to just, use wood stairs. Really, we're very flexible. We've done houses where they've had wooden trusses. We're very flexible to whatever the client wants, is we're kind of adapting to, each individual job, each individual client.
Yeah. And how many jobs you guys have under your belt?
We've done over 35 projects, everything in Canada, all those 35 projects. Our most notable project is the tallest steel stud building in Canada, which is 8 stories. Those 8 floors is about 195 walls per floor. It was installed in 5 days per floor. So extremely fast, extremely efficient on site.
So with the framing portion of this, are you looking at, getting into fully, full MEP walls or anything like that in the future? What does the future look like?
Yeah, no, we're really trying to just stick to making walls, try to be the best at one thing and let everyone else kind of focus on what they do best, right? So let, even any cladding company focus on the cladding, let the insulation company focus on the insulation. We're really just trying to give builders the best like wall, making experience essentially that we can give.
Sure. So when you're talking to a builder, right? So I'm Dave Cooper Live Development, and Harv, I saw your system. I'm really interested in it. What's your system going to do for me? What's the elevator pitch? What can I expect from this? What is my ROI? Are you speeding up my installation time, getting heads on beds? Walk me through.
Yeah, when it comes to developers, they're relatively simple in terms of what they want. They want to go faster and they want to go cheaper, which is very hard to execute. But when you're using technology, you can actually execute on both those metrics. So really what our pitch is, we're able to build your projects faster than stick frame timber. And we're also able to build them cheaper, which is kind of our light bulb moment, is that we can actually help them save money and build these projects that are going to be non-combustible, more resilient, no waste on site, lower insurance rates. Those are all kind of bonuses, but really the key thing is it's actually faster and cheaper.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about sustainability wise. That's a real big push for how you're looking at this. And FYI, everybody, you will be joining us as one of our speakers at Green Build as well. My apologies there. I kind of kicked you out of the show at Green Build as well. So sustainability is a big topic right now. Decarbonization is a big topic. How does steel truly stack up against wood costs and waste? Life cycle performance, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, the best building materials need to be fully recyclable, right, for the lifetime of it. So really, steel is 100% recyclable. It's actually the most recycled material in the world already. So when we're sourcing steel, we're sourcing recycled steel. It's also being made from net zero electric arc furnaces. So you essentially have this net zero manufacturing process that's fully recyclable. This is kind of the future that we want to build. So you can imagine in 100 years when homes are being torn down, all the material should be recycled to make 100 new homes. And that's essentially what we can enable using steel.
So what you're saying is basically you can take the building apart, reuse the steel, melt it back down, turn it back into another cold form steel rolled product or whatever it is that somebody needs it for. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, exactly. Steel just goes back into the system, right? So maybe it becomes a house, maybe it becomes a car, but exactly, it just that scrap metal is reused again to make new steel.
Yeah. Well, we had a guest on the show years ago from where was I? Switzerland. I can't remember the name, and he always said the most sustainable building is one that does not need to be built again.
Yeah, totally.
You know.
The longer buildings last, the more sustainable they are, right? So really, when we're using steel, it just lasts longer compared to wood, right? This is steel that is galvanized. It's not going to get damaged by water. It's also non-combustible. It performs very well, in any forest fire situation.
Can you give us a little bit of insights on what you're going to talk about at Greenbuild this year?
You know what? Every single time I talk, it's usually a little bit different. It depends kind of what I feel like talking about that day. But really, what we're kind of promoting is giving builders another option to say, okay, here's your project. Maybe it's not a fit for every single project, but we are essentially a platform that can help you build your homes faster, cheaper, non-combustible. And if you want those three things, come talk to us, which a lot of builders are, slowly kind of, getting that awareness.
Sure. So I have a set of plans for a multifamily, 8-story building. How does it work? What do you do with my plans? Do you have your own proprietary system? How do I turn my plans into your system?
Yeah, that's a great question. So you send us your architect plans, we take a look, and we essentially give you a quote. That quote will be, okay, here's a supply for all of your walls, joists, and trusses. We break it down to whatever you need. And if that looks good, we can start the engineering process. So at that stage, we'll essentially engineer the entire building to be built almost entirely out of cold form steel. And once that process is done, you can submit your drawings to your city. There are stamped structural drawings. And then about a few weeks before you start construction, we'll kind of do a walkthrough of the 3D model of the entire building with your trades and your team. And if everything looks good, we can essentially start press print and start making your walls.
So with that said, the technology of once you press print and you make the walls, the on-site fabrication or putting the walls together, right? With you got your grade beam, your foundation, whatever it's going to sit on. Are you providing me with all the hold down and locations, or those are all plug and play things that I need to have prepped on my site for when your system arrives, or do you help prep all of that?
Yeah, so part of the structural plans are part of essentially the wall layouts. It'll be telling you exactly where this wall goes at the hold down, like kind of like locations and any other connection details. Everything will be a part of that shop drawing package that we will give to your team.
Got it. So I'm seeing on the screen right here, it talks a little bit about the process. Can you explain, what's going on in that top drawing with the walls and then obviously the framing below?
Yeah, so that first video there is essentially showing you that we're making those studs and you can put your insulation, your drywall, your cladding, whatever material you want. We're not trying to limit your type of insulation or cladding or anything else. We're essentially an input in your kind of assembly process there on site. That's essentially what we're doing over there in that first video. And the second one is essentially showing you all the walls, kind of how they come on site and how rapid the installation can be on site there.
Are these flat packed in a container or on the back of a pickup or semi truck, on the bed, or how do you ship these?
Yeah, they are exactly. They're all flat packed on a big flat deck trailer. So a typical delivery, like we did an 8-story building, that one had about 80 to 90 walls per delivery showing up. So that floor was about 195 walls. About 3 deliveries essentially got all the walls to site.
Got it. And then the framing itself, even for like the floors, walls, and the ceiling areas, that's all done on site. You're just doing the entire framing package out of cold form steel using your proprietary system, your connector systems, and all that. And then the trades come on site and commence the rest of the work. Yes.
Totally. It's very similar to like a truss package, right? So we're essentially just giving the clients a essentially prefab truss package, but for the walls and the joists as well.
Got it. Got it. I love it. I love it. So talk to me about, 30 stories. I think your site mentions that you can go up to 30 stories. Is that your limit? Have you gotten any plans in the works that are going that high?
I mean, we would love to go that high. Right now, the tallest we have in our pipeline is 13 stories. It's really comes down to like cost and engineering at that point. The higher you go, obviously, the heavier gauge of steel you need to use. a lot of
Yeah.
other kind of limiting factors when it comes to like structural engineering. At the same time, cost, right? If you are now using extremely heavy gauge steel for your first 10 floors, the cost kind of analysis compared to concrete at that point starts to kind of break down around the 30 kind of story mark based on our kind of engineering and our analysis.
Got it. So I'm going to share up here because you have a services page here where you have your, prefab steel framing, 3D model design, cost estimation, structural engineering, delivery of the frames, and the on-site installation. How many people are on site when you're doing an install? How many does it take to do a building?
Yeah, and that's the great thing is that the 8-story building, for example, had 4 framers, 4 contractors on site, putting all the walls up, putting all the walls together. Really, what we're trying to do is like lower the barrier of entry for framing. So now more people can be able to become carpenters and kind of install these homes with a very high precision, because it's all really the 3D modeling and that kind of, pre-con work is all done for them.
Yeah, for sure. What am I missing? Am I missing anything in the conversation? What am I leaving out that is super important to share with the people that are watching this that are maybe considering getting into offsite?
I think, for us, really, it's more of like a sales thing, right? What we need is we need consistent kind of production for manufacturing business, right? Like what happens is there has been moments where we have multiple high-story buildings kind of going on, and then we have months where we need more production, more capacity to be able to kind of make the whole manufacturing process work. So really, for us, our ask really is of the audience here is, kind of come talk to us, see if we can kind of make this a fit for any of your projects. Really open to kind of giving any quotes, helping out, even if it's just a conversation. Like we're really trying to give the awareness first, and see what projects kind of make sense.
Yeah. So with that said, I live, obviously I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So do you deliver to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or what is your shipping radius? Where do you try to stay within? And then what does the growth look like for you?
Yeah, we've shipped from Vancouver to Toronto, which was not cost effective. But for the right project and for the right kind of client, it still makes sense. That shipping cost was about $8,000 per delivery. But if you're able to kind of make that fit within the entire budget, it still makes sense. So we're very open to kind of shipping really anywhere. It's essentially a panelized system. But ideally, the closer we are to the projects, the more efficient and the more cost effective we can be. As of right now, we have a facility in Vancouver. Our plans are to open up another facility in Southern California, and hopefully kind of keep expanding from there.
Now, traditional site builders, how many have you converted into your system, and are they repeat customers now?
Yeah, we have. We've converted there's probably about 25 customers in total that we've converted over the last few years here. Some of them are repeat customers. Some of them, are not repeat customers, right? A lot of it is trying to give them that best experience, but sometimes we're trying to scale up a manufacturing facility. It's not exactly the easiest kind of problem to solve, because you're going from 2 projects to 8 projects is not like a 4x, in terms of like difficulty. It's like a 15, 20x.
Okay.
So that sometimes has been kind of a challenge where you're not able to kind of, give your your best service sometimes to every individual client when you're trying to scale up and ramp up at the exact same time. But for the most part, we have a lot of good repeat customers, a lot of clients that are now starting to do engineering for their second or third projects.
Are there any limitations to design that your system has?
Yeah, there's no real limitation when it comes to any type of design. Any type of wall can be made. We're essentially replacing 2x4, 2x6 wood studs, almost like a 1-for-1 basis with a 2x4, 2x6 steel stud.
Got it. So it's just the way you're manufacturing and processing. The designs can be whatever the builder or architect would like them to be.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, exactly. I think that's the only way to make the system work, is that we don't want to limit the architects. We want the architects to design whatever they want, and we will then value engineer it to be built out of steel.
Do you see in the future that you'll have a system where the architects can design within your system?
Yeah, we haven't really explored that, to be honest. We feel like that's going to be a very hard shift to kind of change the way architects work. It's always difficult to change the ways a certain kind of processes are. We are essentially telling the developers and architects, build whatever you want to build, and then come talk to us. And before you start your engineering process, and we'll essentially value engineer a project or help your engineer kind of value engineer your project to try to save you money. Because the biggest problem that we see a lot of these job sites is the engineers are not, like they're not trying to find the fastest, cheapest way to build. They're taking on a lot of projects, trying to go very fast. And it takes a little bit of time to try to find cheaper, faster methods.
Right.
That's kind of where we come in, try to show them, okay, you know what, this steel beam might cost you, $5,000. Well, we can remove this steel beam and replace it with a cold form beam and put this wall over here. And it's now going to cost you $1,000. At the end of the day, the developer and the builders are bearing that cost. So we're trying to kind of come in there and show them, okay, how can you bring value to your developers and builders, and really try to kind of align everyone's, kind of incentives on those job sites.
Well, and you give them cost certainty, at least on the framing portion, right?
Yeah, totally. We actually have a fixed price, so which is super rare in construction. Anything fixed price is difficult to execute on. But when you have a 3D model, and you know exactly how many pounds of steel are going into that project and how many walls there are, you can give them that price certainty and give them a fixed price contract saying, hey, if you go with us, this is the exact price you're going to pay for these many walls.
I mean, listen, you're like a subcontractor on their project, right? First of all, you're a manufacturer, and then you're the one that has to, eat the food that you made. So it's all on you if it doesn't go together, correct? So it's almost a win-win situation, and you're guaranteeing their costs. So if there is anything going wrong, and it's construction, things happen, the foundation's off, whatever the case may be. You essentially have an entire extra team on the structural framing of a building behind you in your back pocket with cost certainty.
Yeah, exactly. And our incentives are aligned with the developer, right? So right now when they're buying lumber, they are just getting a quote on a per piece and just sending thousands of pieces of wood to the site. And depending on the team that they have on site, it might take them it might be a 3-month project or a 5-month project. And depending on the team that they have on site, it might be 30% waste or 20% waste, right? So it's like, right. Those are big kind of, cost uncertainties that we can kind of help solve.
Yeah. For any builders, developers, stakeholders in development, what advice would you give them if they're looking at using prefab construction, offsite methods? What would you tell them would be the most important thing to pay attention to?
Yeah, there's kind of two things. One is essentially do a very good job of the pre-con work. So make sure the 3D modeling, because anything prefab is kind of working in CAD. So kind of make sure that 3D modeling stage, everything is kind of as perfect as can be. Get your entire trades, every single person to kind of take a look at it. Kind of take ownership of that 3D model. And the second thing is really look at the engineering aspect of it. That's kind of a key piece where you can potentially save a lot of money. A lot of projects where they're trying to kind of push forward and trying to submit their drawings as fast as they can. But if they just take an extra couple of days to see, okay, how is my structure being built? And are there any cheaper, faster, better methods out there? Those are kind of two key things that, every builder and developer should be thinking about for every single project.
How important is a level, square foundation to your project's success?
It's obviously nice, but it's very rare. The on-site team will typically have a concrete grinder, just kind of grinding stuff out, kind of leveling stuff off the best they can. But yeah, it's nice. It doesn't happen that often, but yeah, it's something that the team has to work with on site. It's really not a big problem actually.
Yeah. Well, I got an opinion on this, Harv, because to me, if we're hiring master masons, right, and we're using prefabricated systems with, certain tolerances, within millimeters, I shouldn't have to fix their product. Listen, we're not, NASA can build buildings here and ship them all the way to space and connect them. And nobody's pulling out the blueprint saying, oh, we're off over here about 1/8 of an inch. We're going to have to rework this. Right. So my advice to builders, developers out there is start holding the masons accountable. And I love masons. This isn't an attack on masons. There's some really good ones out there. But the reality of it is, as the construction world is changing and we're getting more and more precise and speed's important, You know, hey, listen, if at least on my jobs, you're going to do my job, you better get it square and you better get it level. It should not be my job to come in there and do that. There's too much technology to have to do that today, right?
Yeah, for sure. Quality control is super important on sites, right? So it starts from, like the demolition to everything, right? Like if you have good, quality control throughout your job site, everything is smoother. Every single trade, it's just a smoother experience.
Yeah, I love the trades that always say, "Hey, I'm doing this for the next trade," because thinking of the person that comes after them is how you make sure you do what you need to do correctly and somebody else doesn't have to deal with it. And I think that's a really big value. Harv, this has been great. Is there anything that we missed? Anything? I know I asked you earlier, but there's got to be something, man. I mean, this just sounds too simple.
Yeah, it's we're trying to kind of make it as simple and as easy and the best user experience we possibly can. Really, the big thing is we need to think about buildings in terms of like how can we make these buildings more resilient, make them last longer. Really, that's kind of a key piece. So we have all these forest fires happening on the West Coast, and in Florida we have a whole like hurricane kind of issue there. These houses need to be built to be non-combustible, withstand hurricane winds, and at the same time not absorb water. So those are kind of key characteristics that if we can kind of build structures going in that direction, structures, cladding, kind of the entire process, really, it's actually a win for everyone, right? So it's our homes are built to be more resilient. It's a big win actually for every single, kind of homeowner in the future. And that's kind of, we need to kind of have like a 200-year game plan, not like a 20-year game plan. Which is hard to do.
It is, and again, I'm going to go back to the Green Build conference we have coming up in our stage. I mean, this is the main topic. If there's anything that has to do with resiliency in a climate, it would be the LA fires and what took place there, right? And this is a critical path. And what's going to be great for you, I hope, and so many others is the policymakers, the politicians, the mayor, they're all coming. They all need to see what the technology is for the rebuild and what they can use and the systems they can utilize. They got the Olympics coming. They got the World Cup coming. I mean, there is no downtime for them. Like it's taken too long to even get through. How do we get this rebuilt? To now they have to move in super fast gear to make it happen. So everybody, there is a code right there, 20% off. You want to come see Harv speak? Got to come to Green Build. Yeah, you'll be up there talking about it as well. And if you're going to be in LA and you're a policymaker and you're watching this, Harv is somebody you definitely want to talk to really truly understand how your system can help them with their resiliency, sustainability, and future-proofing some of the housing in the area. So I love that. Love it, love it, love it.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of solutions out there, right? So we've been working on this for years, and the really like we anticipated like this whole climate kind of problem getting worse and worse every year, and we felt at that time there were no solutions, and we're trying to kind of be a solution provider and say, okay, here we are, and kind of building that awareness piece out and really educating everyone and saying, okay, here's a new technology, and it's really coming online with like AutoCAD and kind of like kind of a CAD, CNC. There's a lot of multiple technologies kind of coming together that enables this whole kind of prefab process to really work.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna flash this on the screen. We got a comment here. Chris Maverick, Harv, can you elaborate on the LGS strength to weight ratio when compared to SPF lumber?
Yeah, it's about half the weight. So we won a number of projects just because there had some kind of foundation issues. So essentially half the weight and twice the strength. So it's essentially a lighter, stronger building.
So it's a lighter, stronger building than using a regular wood lumber, SPF lumber.
Yep.
Harv, I appreciate you joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I love talking about kind of prefab construction and kind of building out this kind of our company and our business and our awareness piece here and talking to your audience. Right. It's awesome.
Well, that's what it's about, man. It's about letting people know who you are, getting to know you as an individual. That's why we do live and not a canned video and promotional video. This is real conversation, real people trying to make a difference. And you're one of them, and you're going to be on our stage at Green Build, which we're super excited for. So listen, if you want to learn more and you want to meet Harv and hear what Harv has to say and meet the politicians, the policymakers, I want everybody to join us at Green Build. I mean, there's a QR code. I can't do much more for you. 20% off is pretty good deal, don't you think, Harv?
Yeah, it's a great deal. Yeah, a lot of value there.
Yeah. And we're going to keep the show on the road too. We'll be growing and we're going to travel all over the country, hopefully with Informa and USGBC after this event as well. So Harv, don't go anywhere. You stay right there. I will come back to you in just a moment. All right, everybody, listen. It's Wednesday. You still got 2.5 days to keep building it better, and you still have time to shine up for Green Build. Like I said, I am going there on Monday, so I will be there Monday through Friday, the 3rd through the 7th. So come out, join us. We're going to do some executive get-togethers in the evening. There's plenty of events happening, and guess what? The stage is right across from the bar. Happy hour time right there at the Dave Cooper Live stage across the alley. So you're not going to want to miss that. We tried to give you everything and anything that we could give you at Green Build this year. So I appreciate appreciate each and every one of you. I can get the words out. I'm trying, Harv. But outside of that, listen, everybody, it's Wednesday. Get out there, get to building. Let's make homes affordable again. Let's make them sustainable again. And let's bring a lot of resiliency to it. So we don't have to keep rebuilding homes because of natural disasters and other things. Harv, thank you so much. Don't go anywhere. I'll come back to you after the outro. But for the rest of you out there, have a great rest of your week. And we'll see you in Los Angeles next week. Bye now. What an amazing show. Thank you to all of our sponsors for helping us to continue to bring all of these innovative conversations to all of you out there. Please visit them, see what they have to offer you. And as always, subscribe to the YouTube channel and ring that bell. It would mean the world to us. I'm Dave Cooper. Thanks for watching.